Hey guys, we're at the end of November 2022 and we're back into doing our firewood for next winter, and I'm going to walk you guys through my thought process today about how I choose what trees that I'm going to take for firewood, how I thin my woods, and how I use everything that we take out of the forest over here. And I'm feeling a little bit rough today, so I took a bad hit in the eye there last night when I was out limbing trees. A chunk probably the size of a ping pong ball came up and hit me right in the eyeball. It felt like a thumb in the eye. Anyways, I'm feeling a little bit better today, but I should be wearing my safety glasses. I'm still out here again today not wearing them. Anyway, you never learn sometimes. But I'm gonna try to take you through here so you guys can learn how I go about this forestry work. We've been focused on this trail that we have running back here, and I mentioned on an earlier video we hope to use this trail to run livestock next year down into my field further back in my property. We're still thinning through this section. Here I have my pile of firewood that I'll be burning next winter. You can see there's a runner under either end. It's not much, but it's enough just to keep the logs a little bit off the ground so that they don't rot. And that's how much we've gathered so far from along the trail. As I go back, you can see we're clearing it out really nicely for a walking path. And over here on my left, I've been focusing on building up this brush fence. So here, what we're getting is free livestock fencing. Mind you, it's a lot of labor, but as you thin your forest and you end up with tops of trees that aren't really much good for anything, or rotten trees, what else do you do with them other than, you know, you can leave them around on the ground to trip over, or you take them, you pile them up, and you make a fence out of it. And this fence now is up over waist tall where I'm standing. So that should be adequate to keep in pigs if we bring them back through here. And then we're going to come to a section where I left off the other day. So as I come through here in the daytime, I'll mark my trees. The blue ribbons are trees that I'm keeping. Yellow ribbons are trees that I'll cut. I need to do that in the daytime in order to get a good look around here and see which ones are better trees to keep, like that maple there on the bank. The roots of that maple will hold this little hill together. And then the ones that I have marked yellow, I can come back in the nighttime. And I've started to rely more and more on my chainsaw just because of the efficiency of it. As much as I like to use hand tools, the chainsaw cuts the stuff down a lot faster. So here you can see a look at an area that I whipped through a few days ago. And there's logs cut going back that trail quite a ways. I'll cut the tree at the base with the chainsaw. I'll then move up and maybe make one more cut on the tree to take the biggest, 8 or 10 foot section at the base of it for firewood. And then I move on, and then I can come back through again at night with my headlamp, and I can saw the tops off with my bow saw and limb the trees with my axe and then carry them out of here. The small stuff again and the rotten stuff I'll pick up and I'll put on my livestock fence that I have running through the trees there to build that up, and then that way we've got free livestock fencing that's going to help keep these pigs or whatever moving through my trail. The hardwoods that we take down, I take the main trunks right up until I get to the very tops. Like on this one, somewhere up in there, I may cut it off. We're going to put the top on the brush pile on the fences, and then we'll take this here trunk for firewood. And then if there's any logs that are decent through here, softwood logs that would make, a decent building log, we'll take that and skin it and pile that on a separate pile so that we can build our next, gatehouse for next year. So some of these trees are pretty long length that I end up cutting here for the fence. And so I got to feed the butt end of this between those two trees so it's not on the outside of it. And then pushing this through. I'll straighten it up on this end and bring it up on the pile. Okay, and this is a long straight section of fence. So I'll take my longest pieces and put them along here. See, here's the end of it, the top of it up here. All right, and then that's situated now. It runs a nice 20-foot section along the fencing, adds a couple more inches to it, and anywhere that I cut trees out that were no good, I usually cut them a little high, and then these act as posts to hold everything together in the fence. And over time, even if those, temporary live posts rot away, this will also compress, and it gets more and more dense, which keeps it from really going anywhere. And then each year as we come through, we thin a little bit of our forest and we toss it back on top of the fence, and we end up with a fence, this tall that no pig is going to go through. A goat may be debatable. I've heard that they'll jump things, but I think most livestock will probably stay within this. And if I wanted to, I could always go up here a little bit higher and run some wire, just even a length, foot above this brush pile, and then you're up, considerably high to try to keep your livestock in. So this should work. It's going to cut right above the pond that we have. I don't know if you can see the ice down over there, but the pond that we flooded is just down in here. There's a steep embankment that runs down on the other side. And so on this side of the fence, we can run our livestock back through. And it may serve the purpose for hunting someday, that animals that cross the property are going to be corralled just the same as livestock would be, wild animals. So if a moose or something came into here and I had my moose license, I could sit up here on this perch and maybe hunt it, and the only way that moose can go is back out this direction or up onto my fields in that direction. So multiple purposes for everything that we're doing here, and in using all of our brush on this, we are using up everything in our forest. It gets it out of the way that as I'm walking through here with my firewood, I don't have to worry about tripping over this stuff. It also creates habitat for animals, because small rodents and whatnot like to go in amongst these branches for protection. So, and over time also the nutrients will, feed into the ground, although it's probably not as good as having it scattered out across your property. You aren't removing it entirely from your land. Okay, so this is just a temporary pile of birch. All of this has to be moved out to the wood pile where I started my video. Right now I'm just picking this wood up that I cut down through here again. Cut the tree down and cut the first length of the birch tree. These are all the first lengths that I left down here on the ground the other day when I cut. I'm going to bring these here. We're going to haul them out on our shoulder out to where our wood pile is. Alright, we're going to get our firewood out of here now into the pile where we're going to keep it for the winter. We've got a lot of the roots cut through here and all the brush moved so that I can move through here with my firewood. So here's our pile for the winter time.
Big boy!
Oh, it just about fell over with the weight of that one. Leo's been helping me move all the brush today out of here. We cleaned up this here, and we've got the brush from here dragged up and onto our fence.
Also, guys, before we start talking about that, we need 3 more subscribers to get to 300.
Just 3 more to 300. So everybody who watches, please subscribe. It would help us out tremendously. All right, so with a little bit of daylight that we have left, we're going to mark a couple trees right now. Okay, Leo, so I want you to tell us what this tree is here first with the blue ribbon that we have marked.
I think it's maple.
Right. That one's a maple. That's what we can get maple syrup from. They live a good long time, so we're going to keep that tree. And then if you come over here, Leo, what do you think this one is?
Ouch, that is spruce.
Right. So do that again, Leo. What's the test? If you grab hold of those needles with your hand and it hurts, grab her I'm gonna make you. All right. The needles on the spruce tend to hurt more than a fir.
Stuff on my dad's property for ages, and oh my god, it stings.
Right, and the bark on a spruce tree is also different than fir. So if we look around here, Leo, we've got this one maple that we're going to save. That's why it's marked with a blue ribbon.
My dad uses blue ribbons to keep, and yellow and red ribbons to just like to
for cutting.
For cutting down.
Right. So we're going to mark this one now with a red ribbon or yellow, orange, whatever, to denote that we're going to cut this down. I try to reuse all of my tape that I mark my trees with. So this one here, I'm going to come back with the chainsaw and cut it down at night. And then we look over here, we've got a really big poplar tree that we would probably leave just because of the age and size of it. And next to it we have a nice maple and another maple here. This maple's probably a little bit crowded to leave all three of these right here in this triangle. So I'm going to mark one maple with the blue ribbon, and then I'll go and mark that one with a red ribbon, and we'll probably take that maple down for firewood. And that's just looking at which one's growing straighter and taller and has the better top. We'll get rid of this one and we'll keep the other one beside it. And then as we look around, Leo, if we're going to keep this guy here, okay, then what do you think about these other trees to your left over here?
Right here?
Look at that.
Now that's crowded.
Right.
And doesn't seem very nice.
Doesn't seem very healthy.
Yeah.
So those two have to go, don't they? This one over here you can see is
especially
unhealthy.
This one.
Yeah, so that's going to go. And
have you seen these? Have you seen those little like white things on it? Like, I'm zooming in right now. Do you see those little white things there?
Yeah, they're like a fungal growth that tells you that that tree's dead. It's standing dead.
Yeah.
So aside from leaving the odd snag tree for wildlife, which is like a dead standing tree, most of these get cut down. And so I'll come back again. I work through the days, so I can only usually get out here nights and a little bit on the weekends with Leo.
I haven't been on the channel a lot.
Yeah, so I will come out at night and cut these down and haul this brush away. So that was it for that segment, Leo, and then I'm going to get you to follow me through the trail. We'll show what we did over here. And you can see this one's marked blue. We're going to keep that tree. We'll keep that guy for now. We're going to keep this one because it's a spruce. Right next to it, though, we've got some crowding, so we're going to take this out.
Okay.
Now, this is the kind of diameter tree that I can do with my bow saw. This takes a few seconds more. There.
Which way is that going to be falling?
It's coming down over here.
Nice. Whoa.
Okay, perfect. So we just limbed with our axe, and that's about the main chunk there that I'm going to take off of this one. So, provided this tree's healthy, which it seems to be, we'll take this for firewood.
Look out. You're good.
Mark, I got something over there.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay. This here brush, that lands on right here. I guess in this case, it's just going to go on our livestock fencing. And then we're going to take this here.
Go, go. Come.
And,
who's barking at something?
yeah, we'll go see what he's into. Come on over.
Could be after a squirrel or...
From here, we've got to haul this out. Okay, so now you guys can see what we're doing here. Taking out our firewood, tops on the fence, firewood that we can burn, coming out here for the winter time to be piled on these runners. Yeah, and then softwood trees. Those are going to be piled separately, skinned if they're any good for building our blockhouse here in the springtime. And again, the tops and branches of our softwood would go back on our fencing for our livestock. We're going to keep this up for the next while until we get this trail all groomed and thinned out, and then we'll be able to use this next year for our livestock. Thanks for watching. 3 more subscribers.
Please, free.
Yeah. Here's a...
So, the height of the wall is almost my height.
See if you can climb it, Leo. Go for it.
Okay, wait, there's branches.
See, if Leo can't escape, I don't think our livestock's going to escape. This is the test.